Google is about to launch the next flagship, but the real champ is already here, the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Can it compete with the S25 Ultra with this much price? Samsung did a really good job of changing a bunch of things with the S25 Ultra, where they changed the design and moved to the rounded design on S25 Ultra. But Google is sticking with the same design as last year Pixel 9 Pro XL. Exactly same, there is no difference from last year. The flat size and rounded design. Looks really good by the way, and both phones matches the flat sides. Just S25 Ultra came with the titanium sides and Pixel with aluminum. S25 Ultra is slightly less rounded and would be slightly bigger in size compared to the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Overall, the design on both phones are really good. Pixel used the last year design, whereas the S25 Ultra came with a brand new design. By the way, S25 Ultra is on a big discount, even less than the Pixel 10 Pro XL, which you can avail from a prior listed in this video. The real talk starts with the display of both phones. Pixel 10 Pro XL will going to feature a 6.8 inches LTPO panel, whereas the S25 Ultra came with a 6.9 inches. So there's a slight change in the size. Now the peak brightness will be more on Pixel at 3000 nits compared to 2600 nits on S25 Ultra. But Google is using a much older glass on Pixel 10 Pro XL. Samsung last year used GG Armor first generation, and S25 Ultra came with the GG Armor second generation with anti-reflective coating. But Pixel is using a Victus 2 on the front and the back, which means there is no change in the glass on Pixel phone. Yet, S25 Ultra is using the latest glass, which is more durable and comes with the anti-reflective coating. On Pixel, there is not much that has changed, which means you're going to get a similar display as Pixel 9 Pro XL. The pricing is something I really want to talk about because this year Google removed one model from the list. Till last year, Google was using 128 gigs version as a base model on Pixel 9 Pro XL, but this year they changed it to a 256 gigs. Just like the other flagship smartphones, and they set the price accordingly. Now the base model Pixel 10 Pro XL will cost us $1199. I mean the launch price, while the S25 Ultra launch price was $1299. But right now, due to discounts, S25 Ultra is even less than the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Samsung usually give offers, so for pricing right now S25 Ultra seems a better option. The battery is where Pixel 10 Pro XL wins with the size, and I'm not talking about the battery life, but the battery size. Google increased the battery on Pixel 10 Pro XL, and the rated capacity of Pixel 10 Pro XL will be 5200, one of the biggest ones in the US apart from OnePlus, whereas the S25 Ultra came with a 5000 mAh battery. The reason initially I said battery size and not battery life, because Samsung phones are optimized enough to perform extremely well in the battery test. So for now, we can say both would match at the middle. But on paper, Google is ahead with the bigger battery and slightly smaller display. The charging speed is where we need to talk about. Google increased the battery and they increased the charging speed, but only by 2 watts. Yes, last year it was 37 and now it will be 39. There is a slight change, whereas the S25 Ultra featured a 45 watt of fast charging, meaning S25 Ultra will be quickly topped out with the 45 watt. The performance is where Pixel 10 Pro XL will be destroyed by S25 Ultra. There is no match between 10 Pro XL and S25 Ultra. Google this year used TSMC, and when I saw the performance numbers, the multi-core scores were even less than last year's Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, meaning it couldn't beat last year's processor. How are you gonna compete with the Snapdragon 8 Elite used in the S25 Ultra? And there is no point of comparing when it cannot cope up with the last year processor. But if you are not a gamer and a heavy user, Pixel 10 Pro XL will do everything just fine. Couldn't say about the thermal comparison between these two phones. Now, let's see the official spec sheet of Pixel 10 Pro XL, which confirms cameras and one special feature which we was waiting on S25 Ultra. The king of leaker Evan Blass actually shared the Pixel drop, the entire Pixel lineup, and looking at the Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL, there are a bunch of things changed. First, the battery section. They didn't mention the actual size, just showed the 24 hours plus of battery life. But the interesting thing behind that is the wireless charging. The Pixel Snap wireless charging Qi2 certified. We waited for this feature on Galaxy S25 Ultra, but Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL are the top end to get this feature. Even the base model Pixel 10 will going to get this feature. Right underneath, we can see the 16 gigs of RAM option for the Pixel 10 Pro and XL and a 12 gigs of RAM for the Pixel 10. And the new processor Tensor G5, which I talked previously, and the numbers are not that amazing. The cameras are where we can see the actual update. Finally, we are going to see a 100x zoom option on Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL. After Samsung, Google is on track to give us a 100x zoom on Pixel 10 series. But interesting thing, this year we are also going to see a third camera on base model Pixel 10. Yes, there is a telephoto sensor on Pixel 10, 10.8 megapixel, and can give us 20x zoom. This makes entire lineup looks almost identical from the back. 8K video recording is also an option for the Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL exclusively, while the Pixel 10 will going to keep the 4K resolution and the 42 megapixel selfie shooter just like the last year. Speaking of Qi2 wireless charging, there was no mention for the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which means Google is skipping this feature on Pixel 10 Pro Fold and give Candy Bar phone this feature. Now, in one of the teaser, Google actually teased Apple. Before this teaser, Google already teased Pixel 10 Pro a couple of times before, and even the phone was leaked enough as Google showcased the upcoming Pixel devices on the official website. So the teaser actually shows us the official launch date of the Pixel 10 Pro XL, the size of the phone, and what they said in between, more like roasting Apple. They said, if you buy a new phone because of a feature that is coming soon, but it's been coming soon for a full year. Yes, those AI features that were promised on Apple devices are not available at least for now, and Google is far ahead in this game. The second thing which we can take out of this will be the design of the phone, and that is exactly like the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Another thing, the release date of the phone, and yes, 8/20/25, so only 15 days left for the launch of the upcoming Pixel 10 lineup. Not only this, we also have a 360 view of Pixel 10 Pro, and seems like there is little to no change in the design of Pixel 9 Pro and Pixel 10 Pro. Both phones looks identical, they only changed the color options on Pixel 10 Pro, else the design looks identical to Pixel 9 Pro. The front of Pixel 9 Pro XL and the Pixel 10 Pro XL would look the same, even with the same specs and same glass. Google is going with the same flat size on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, which I personally like about Pixel 9 Pro XL last year. Now we got the official cases of the Pixel 10 series. These are not just cases but actually confirmed one of the most important feature of Pixel 10 series. The cases looks exactly like the Pixel 9 series because both phones were going to look identical from the back. The change is the internal side of the case. There's a circle inside of the case. Yes, the wireless charging update is finally confirmed. Look at this. This is for the Qi2 wireless charging update for the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Not just XL, but Pixel 10 and 10 Pro will also going to get this update. Just one device is missed, and that is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. We'll share more details on that later. Interesting thing about these new cases, these cases will going to work with the Pixel Snap accessories that will going to launch alongside the Pixel 10 series. Not just a gimmick, but an actual feature update we expected from Samsung on S25 Ultra, yet Google wins it with the Pixel 10 series. With that said, if you found value from this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Till then, peace out.